Folks, Andrew Tate is on a mad one once again, okay, after he told absolutely everybody that Habibi, Dubai is safe. Come to Dubai, it's safe. There's nothing bad going on in Dubai. Oh, wait, I've just got to get out of Dubai. Let me get over to Hong Kong. Andrew Tate basically gave everybody else marching orders to come to Dubai and how safe it was. Then he got the hell out of there. And now he's got a new excuse as to why he's left, and he's blaming it on cloud seeding. Okay, there's some pretty messed up weather going on in Dubai, but I'm going to explain to you the rank hypocrisy in this video. So this is one of the latest messages from our guy Andrew Tate going around. Okay, he had previously attacked anybody fleeing Dubai. He said that anybody running away from the city is a coward. Interesting statements that will definitely get him tongue-tied now.
If you're a man and you ran away from Dubai, answer me this. Why are there girls here? There are old ladies, there are children here, and you ran away. And the rest of us are here showing that Dubai is perfectly fine, normal life. You can make up any excuse you want. Everyone who has left Dubai should be permanently travel banned. You know, the last thing a city needs in a time of difficulty are cowards. If you're a man...
So everyone who has left Dubai is a coward. And here he is.
So there's a
right. He's been talking about how he's preparing himself and his 103 supercars to get the hell out of there.
So there's a huge storm that's coming to Dubai. Supposedly a year's worth of rain is coming in one day tomorrow. So to prepare for this, people with very expensive cars were finding high ground to put our cars on just in case there's flooding. This isn't a problem for the Toyota owners. It's not for the Nissan people. It's not for you people. It's for the people who have priceless cars. Cars that even money can't replace because they're so limited. Not a Ferrari. Ferrari's for brokies. I'm talking about priceless, you know, one of ones. People like me. So I've just had to move some of my cars, and I thought, well, while I'm moving my Pagani Huayra BC, only 20 in the world, $7.1 million, and while I'm moving my Bugatti Chiron Pure Sport, only 60 in the world, $5.5 million, I may as well move all my cheap cars too. So my Ferrari 812 Competition, I moved that. It was only 1.7 million. And then I had some real cheap, like 765 McLarens. They're like 600 grand each, pennies. I had to move them all. So I moved all my cars to higher ground. And then someone said to me, Andrew, that's crazy. Like the largest gold nugget ever discovered in Australia was only worth $11 million. And you just moved $16 million worth of cars because it might rain. And I was like, yeah, that is crazy. And the craziest thing about it, thank you very much, sir. Craziest thing about it is it's not even all my cars. Because I know what you're thinking. I know you're concerned. So I just want to let everyone on the internet know everything's under control. You're worried about this flood and you're worried about my Pagani Utopia. Don't be worried. It's still in Italy. I know that my Pagani Huayra BC was recently in Italy because it was getting upgraded with the Tempesta pack, but that's flown back now. So that's back here. The Utopia is still in Italy. I know you're concerned about my W1. That's in Germany. Don't worry about it. The McLaren W1 is in Germany. I know you're concerned about my new Tourbillons. They're not out yet. They're both paid for. They're being put together in Croatia. Don't worry. My other 812 competitions, because I have 4 of them, you've probably seen them in videos. The white one where I was driving around with all the blonde chicks during the summer, and then I've got another one. I've got a purple Aperta, which you've never even seen, and then I've got my Koenigsegg Jeskos. They're all in Austria. So it's okay, there's no flooding in Austria. We have a warehouse in Austria, a warehouse in Switzerland, we have cars in Dubai. You know, I don't really even live anywhere anymore because I'm such an international fucking celebrity and I just like wake up every day and I get millions of dollars and I'm famous everywhere I go and I have houses everywhere. I kind of live everywhere, so I need cars everywhere. You have a car outside your house. I have 102 cars spread across different jurisdictions. So the Koenigsegg's, the one I just drove in the snow, the blue one, it's perfectly fine. It's safe in Romania. And then we have the purple one. Remember last summer when I showed I had 2 Koenigsegg's, the purple and gold one? The forgotten Koenigsegg Jesko, I know not many people talk about that. That's fine. That's also in Switzerland in the warehouse. So if you're concerned about my 103 cars, maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to instruct some of my staff to put together a list, you know, like an Excel sheet showing all my cars, all the locations they're in, so you don't have to worry about flooding.
Yeah, this guy, man, look. He's got 103 supercars, all right? He loves lauding it up in front of you. You know, he thinks he's better than you because he has so many cars. Well, he's not, okay? He is a hypocrite. He is a clown, okay? Look, whether you got money or whether you ain't got money, it doesn't buy you class, doesn't buy you taste, and it certainly doesn't buy you respect. So basically, he is now hiding his cars, okay? Talking about how, you know, You're a bitch if you flee Dubai. Well, he's fleeing Dubai. He's putting all of his cars somewhere safe because he knows that it is a problem. If it's not the drone strikes, then it's going to be the flash flooding. So let me give you a little bit of backstory on why the UAE's weather situation is so diabolical at the moment, okay? So 2025, just last year, there were massive flash floods which devastated the United Arab Emirates, which is where Dubai is. This was Dubai flood. Okay, I think we're good without the music. Apocalyptic storms and rains coming from Dubai. This is a desert. This is not what they're used to, right? The airport was flooded. How? How is that even possible? How are the planes still even flying? How is this possible in a desert? The whole place is an absolute mess, okay? I dread to think what would happen if they actually tried to take off in that weather. The roads are falling apart. This is the situation. So when Andrew Tate says it's safe, come to Dubai, he doesn't have a fucking clue what he's talking about, okay? He doesn't have a clue. Look at the state of that. That is insane. That is insane. Range Rover flooded out. So Dubai was underwater just a year ago. Torrential rain, all right? Cars ruined, buildings ruined, apartments ruined, everything a mess, everybody living in fear, okay? And this is where Tate wants you to come to. Tate saying pull up. If you don't pull up, you're a pussy. Even though he's hot-tailing it out of the country, he's been seen in Hong Kong. He's moving his hundreds of cars out of the city. So that's what's going on. All right. So what's interesting is basically this is how Dubai and its neighbors are looking right now, with warnings that things could be getting much worse. This is the state of things. 3 days ago. So it's heavy rain, it's thunderstorms. It's not flooded yet, but it's definitely not looking ideal. Okay, not the ideal conditions. And if it's not drone strikes, it's an absolute torrential downpouring. This is not what you expect to see in Dubai. I've been to Dubai a couple of times. Never, ever, ever seen it rain. Nothing but heat, nothing but sun. This is really bizarre. I'm not sure if this is a good sign for humanity or the future of the human race. I don't know if this is some warming shit or if this is they're playing around with the weather. I don't know, but it's bad, right? These stores are getting destroyed, they're getting flooded. The roads are just a complete mess. People are still getting around outside. But this is a really bad situation, okay? This is what they're dealing with. This is what they're living with now, right? This is you getting around Dubai. Now, interestingly enough, the actual backstory as to why this is happening might surprise you. So since at least the early 2000s, the UAE actually initiated cloud seeding operations to artificially increase rainfall in the desert. Now, don't know if this is too good.
The UAE is one of the driest countries on Earth, with an annual rainfall of roughly 120 millimeters. As a result, it has to get creative when it comes to finding solutions for water. In the early 2000s, the UAE started performing regular cloud seeding operations. Cloud seeding is the process of increasing the amount of rain produced from clouds.
Some of these clouds, by nature, sometimes it rains, for example, only 40 to 50% of its rain that processed in the cloud that comes as rainfall. So by these operations, we try to increase this amount by, for example, from 15 to 30%.
So how does it work? It starts here, inside the National Center of Meteorology, where a team is constantly monitoring forecasts, looking for potential clouds to seed. The operations only work with cumulus clouds, which are vertical in shape.
Research 5 operation, can you read me?
Once they spot a cloud, they radio the pilots, who then take to the air armed with hydroscopic flares filled with a mixture of potassium chloride, sodium chloride, magnesium, and other materials. It's essentially salt. When the plane reaches the right clouds, the pilots release the flares.
These salts basically attracts the moisture and try to make it condense. So these particles becomes nuclei of condensation, and then when these droplets condense, and then they hit each other, and then they form a bigger droplet that the air cannot hold it any longer in the air. So it forms as rain.
In 2017, the UAE performed 242 cloud seeding operations. The government is confident the operations are increasing the amount of rainfall, but it's difficult to gauge.
Until now, there is no way that you can measure the success rate for each individual clouds. There are no two clouds are the same, and you don't know, for example, before actually you see the cloud, is it going to rain by itself or not, and by how much?
So this is not necessarily great for the environment, from what I understand. People are saying it's crazy to me because my old science teacher used to tell me the government would shoot rockets into clouds back in the day to make it rain, and we just laughed at him. Now I think he was right. Says they finally reached 100% success rate. If the clouds don't want to rain, then let them be. Why are you robbing the clouds? All right, who's here after the Dubai flooding in 2024? Who's here after the rain in Dubai 2020? Yeah, this is why the place is flooded, okay? It's not really the best solution, okay, to try and seed the clouds in this arid desert. It's gone a little bit too far. Now, apparently, traditional cloud seeding uses, or at least historically, it did use dangerous chemicals for decades. Now, Dubai claims that they recently transitioned to employing advanced drones for these cloud seeding operations, and this is actually the same technology that the US has been using to fight forest fires.
Cloud seeding in general, because a lot of people, I don't think, understand what cloud seeding is. And this has been going on for decades, by the way. This is not something that's brand new. But traditionally, what cloud seeding is, it involves using aircraft or drones or even some cannons to push silver iodide up high into the clouds. Why silver iodide? Because what that has the same crystallized structure as ice. So once it gets up into the clouds, it starts to accumulate ice on it and these large raindrops, which helps, especially in a cloud mass that's not really going to rain. It helps to bring rain and especially snow down.
So it works.
It does work. Marginally. But the problem with silver iodide through the years has been this, is that they feel it could be harmful to aquatic life. Okay? So over in Dubai, which is what you're seeing here, they took it a different step, and what they basically did, they had a fleet of drones that flew up into cloud cover, and they use electrical charges to force water droplets to combine into larger ones.
So not silver, not cloud seeding as we know.
No, they're not using the traditional silver iodide, which takes out the environmental aspect of that, okay? So they're using just electricity to create larger raindrops. Why larger raindrops? Because in Dubai, they only average about 4 inches of rain per year, as most of the rain that falls out of the clouds evaporates. Because it's so hot, it's so dry, and the water molecules are so tiny. So they're trying to stimulate, by using electricity, these droplets to be larger, hence they can make it to the ground. Now, I will tell you that the jury is still kind of out a bit on whether or not this was a fluke, whether this is something that can work long term, so they need to continue with these drones, and they're going to continue to do this. Yes, Mr. Rhodes?
So, assuming it works, and it wasn't a fluke, why not use this out in the western U.S. where all these wildfires are and the drought is going on? Could this not help us
That's a fantastic question, and they've been trying. This is stuff that, first of all, it's very expensive too. You're talking about millions and millions of dollars, which is fine when you're trying to alleviate a drought.
Sure.
It cannot work with wildfires. Here's the thing. You can't just throw silver iodide or electricity into a clear sky and it rains. It doesn't work that way. You have to have the right cloud structure, the right cloud height. They have to be tall, getting up well into the freezing layers. Then you can try to stimulate that process. And they've done that out west. During the winter time, when they get days and days of cloud cover, they've done that, and they've noticed they've been able to increase the snowfall pack 5 to 15%. But the area and the weather, Russell, around wildfires is not conducive to that type of cloud cover, so you can't do it. In other words, we need to treat the drought, which will then alleviate the wildfires. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And that's the way it has to go. 5 to 15% increase in precipitation out west due to this. It's a start.
Okay.
So this actually has been a giant secret for decades, all right? Around, just over a decade ago, high-profile scientists would basically deny publicly that any form of large-scale weather manipulation even existed. So they've been pulling the wool over your eyes for a while and trying to convince you that this isn't even a thing when it is.
Gareth asks, I've read some theories that HARP can be used to manipulate the weather. Is this possible?
Yeah, HARP is, Mahili, what is it? High altitude
radio pension.
I always forget the acronym.
Yeah.
There are people who are sure that the government is stockpiling aliens and controlling everything about anything we would ever think about, and they clearly have never worked for the government because the level of incompetence of the government and inefficiency knows no bounds.
But
for starters,
it's true that you could manipulate the weather like they did during the Olympics in China. Like, it's not that you can't manipulate the weather; it's that whether you would really have any serious control.
Yeah, a lot of the weather. Weather happens in many places, so it comes about from the heat balance, from the energy coming from the sun, what it reflects off of, what it gets absorbed by, what the up currents do. do, what the downdrafts do, what the rotation of the Earth is doing, all of this factors in. And so I have not been convinced by any of the reports to suggest that experiments in the upper atmosphere, physics experiments, are having any effect on our weather whatsoever.
Right.
And it would be tragic if we wanted to say, oh, that's why it's getting hotter in the world, okay? Because there's some experiment happening. That would be tragic because we would be missing the 900-pound gorilla in the room.
Right. And then, but can you...
The carbon dioxide gorilla, yes.
Yes, the 900-pound carbon dioxide gorilla.
So look, people downplay the fact that these weather operations exist, but they have been going on for quite some time. Apparently, even during the Vietnam War in the early 70s, the United States were utilizing cloud seeding in Vietnam in something that they were calling Operation Popeye.
As the Vietnam War reached crossroads, the U.S. Army had important decisions to make if they wanted to tip the scale back to their side. All options were on the table, both conventional and unconventional. And among the most unusual plots was Operation Popeye, launched in an attempt to weaken the Ho Chi Minh Trail, the Viet Cong's most vital mechanism and supply flow tool. To accomplish this, the U.S. would turn the weather into a weapon of war. Operation Popeye utilized cloud seeding technology, a type of weather modification that artificially creates rain or snow. With it, the U.S. military extended at least 5 monsoon seasons, causing detrimental effects to the unknowing Vietnamese citizens and soldiers. The mission spanned 5 years and cost taxpayers over $15 million. Despite multiple hearings in Congress, military officers, and even President Nixon himself denied it existing at all.
So people have been denying this stuff exists for years, okay? But when Dubai had its floods in 2024, some people were claiming that it was due to cloud seeding, but at the time, the mainstream media and the scientists said, no, it's climate change. That's what it is.
The scenes in soaked Dubai tonight look apocalyptic. Roads turned into rivers, trees barely still standing as wind sends debris flying. The tarmac flooded at Dubai International Airport, the second busiest in the world. Imagine being a passenger on this plane, battling rising waters, seeing this out your window. For hours, flights were halted as stranded passengers piled up. Tonight, Dubai Airport telling passengers don't show up unless you've confirmed your flight's still leaving.
There are hundreds and thousands of other passengers just like me in this airport who have been waiting for 10 hours, 16 hours.
In 24 hours, Dubai drenched with more rain than the city usually gets in nearly 2 years, shattering records in a desert metropolis known for being hot and dry. Since the UAE started keeping track of rainfall in 1949, it's never seen anything like this.
So this is not a time lapse, this is real. I've never seen this much lightning in my life before. This is crazy.
The extreme rainfall disrupting life across the region. Private schools closed and government workers sent home, with many roads impassable. A cat clinging to a car in water as high as the headlights, saved by a rescuer in a boat. This historic rain has turned deadly. At least one man killed in Dubai when his car was swept away. While in neighboring Oman, authorities say at least 18 were killed in flash flooding. Dozens more rescued, some by helicopter. And in nearby Pakistan, the death toll has now surpassed 60, officials say. In the UAE, the unprecedented rain is raising concerns about something called cloud seeding, which the UAE has been doing for years.
Cloud seeding is an attempt to get more water out of clouds. This is largely by making the droplets larger and more able to survive.
Cloud seeding uses airplanes to disperse chemicals like silver iodine inside clouds to give moisture something to cling to. Badly needed in deserts like the Gulf, but not when it falls this fast. The UAE's National Center of Meteorology says no cloud seeding took place during this rainfall, but doesn't deny cloud seeding flights took place in the days before. But weather experts say it was unlikely a factor, given how the whole region was inundated with rain.
The weather system that produced the rain in Dubai is over hundreds of kilometres, really very many organised thunderstorms. There's a real mismatch between what you might do in a local way with cloud seeding and this regional rainfall we've seen over a really wide area.
Tonight, Dubai is cleaning up from the chaos and bracing for more extreme weather to come. Across the globe, extreme weather events are becoming more common due to climate change, with the warmer atmosphere soaking up moisture and then dumping it in massive storms like the ones in Dubai. Tom? All right, Josh.
It's pretty interesting, right? It's pretty interesting how, you know, they use this weather seeding. It seems to have some unintended consequences. And, you know, while this is going on, there's been apparently increased flooding all around the world. And a lot of people do actually believe that maybe there are more cloud seeding programs going on around the world. So this is flash flooding all around the world, going on at the same time. Vancouver, British Columbia, Roswell, New Mexico, what's that, Cavite in the Philippines, Campione, Italy. It's happening everywhere, okay? Now, interestingly enough, I've got a little map here, okay? This is a 2012 map with all of the countries that apparently are engaging in geoengineering projects, including cloud seeding. And it's most places, basically, okay? They're doing this absolutely everywhere. They're modifying the weather. This is weather modification. Some places are increasing the precipitation, seeding clouds with silver iodide or other chemicals. Some places are reducing the precipitation, basically reducing rainfall and using water-based and cloud methods. There's air capturing, all different types of things that they're doing. Artificial trees, carbon-sucking machines, biochar, agricultural waste and crops and trees burned in low oxygen conditions to make charcoal that's added to the soil with an aim of reducing carbon. There's carbon capture and storage processes that capture carbon emissions at source and bury them. Bioenergy with carbon capture storage. They have power plants that are burning biomass, and it reduces carbon removal from the atmosphere. Solar radiation management. They're using stratospheric aerosols like artificial volcanoes, cloud whitening the surface of the Earth, or space mirrors with the aim of diverting sunlight. And there's even water-based technologies. They can fertilize the ocean, stimulating carbon-eating algae by adding iron or nitrogen to seawater. There's algae schemes, so they'll industrially cultivate a bunch of algae that consume CO2, generating new biofuels. And basically, this is going on pretty much everywhere in the world. It's going on everywhere. America got damn near everything going on. They're doing it all. And yeah, this is just widespread. What's the UK got going on? The UK got a bunch of shit going on. Listen, it's popping off. All right, what have they got going on there? 6 and 14. What's that? What projects are these? The Virgin Earth Challenge announced for GHG removal. There was prohibition of commercial ocean fertilization research. It's definitely concerning that they're messing around with the weather like this. Now, apparently, okay, cloud seeding was allegedly the cause of a 2019 flood in Dubai as well. The UAE could have flooded itself with cloud seeding operations. Okay, they accidentally flooded themselves by fucking around with the weather. Cloud seeding, a scientific method of modifying weather conditions to encourage rainfall, could have led to flooding in the UAE earlier this month, where much of the country drenched with downpours. Northern Emirates in particular were hit with flooding after deluges hit the UAE on 10th of November and the following days, leading to major disruption for drivers. The flooding could have been caused by cloud seeding operations that took place during those days in a bid to encourage rainfall in the unusually dry Gulf state. It has gotten a little bit too wet. Cloud seeding operations were carried out a day before the unusually wet weather, so it sounds like they got exactly what they wanted. Okay, UAE is usually one of the driest countries on Earth. This isn't natural. This isn't natural. I don't think this is good for the planet. I don't think this is good for the world. And now you got clowns like Andrew Tate. They're fleeing the country and having to hide their supercars. So you know what? If it disrupts Andrew Tate's life, maybe I'm in favor of this cloud seeding stuff. But it's definitely weird. It's definitely interesting. I just wanted to cover that because I felt like it was just one of them topics that's just like, I wanted to learn a little bit more about this cloud seeding thing. And it is a real thing. Okay, so let me know what you thought of that. If you enjoyed this video, I could do more stuff about the weather. I don't know. I'm really just trying to mix it up on this channel and do a bunch of different stuff at the moment, okay? I did just do a video on my main channel where I went to New Orleans, okay? Big surprise, I went to New Orleans. I even went to Baton Rouge, pulled up to Young Boys Hood for the end of the video. So if you're interested in my old style of content, doing the gang wars and all that kind of stuff, go check out my main channel, Traplaw Ross. I'm actually just going to do one more video about gang wars, and I'm actually going to stop after that. I'm going to take on some very, very different topics on the main channel, which I'm really excited for. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching this video. And for now, guys, I'm out. Thanks for watching. Peace.